If you like me and thought Pinot was Australia's cheapest cruise line, stick around as I put it against Carnival to find out which one is actually cheaper. In a previous video, I put the Carnival Splendor in a head-to-head video with Pinot Australia's Pacific Encounter. If you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link in the description, and if you're watching this on a phone or computer, right here. If you want to watch that video, go watch it now so you're not spoiled. Carnival won convincingly, with myself believing it had more included value and more entertainment. This led me to the question, was Pinot Australia the cheapest cruise line you could sail from in Australia since it was less included in your base fare? After all, less included should mean it should be cheaper, right? I originally answered that question a few months ago with this video here. Check it out if you want to see the whole video. For those of you that just want an answer or a refresher from the last video, I discovered that for most of the time, Pinot weren't actually the cheapest cruise line. In fact, the only time they were cheaper was around the school holidays. Otherwise, Carnival was the cheaper option. But I wasn't fully convinced in the answer, and I thought I had just gotten lucky and found the right time to book a Carnival cruise, and I wanted to re-look at the results. Before we get into the results, let's explain the rules and how I'm going to measure them all. Like the original video, I chose the ships, the Carnival Splendor and Pinot Australia's Pacific Adventure. The reason for this is I feel they are the best to make a comparison with, as they are the only ships to sail all year round from Australia from the same port as Sydney. The Carnival Linktr.ee only sails during the peak cruising season, and the two other Pinot ships, the Encounter usually only sails from Brisbane, and the Explorer doesn't sail from Sydney all year round. From there, I'm going to select two itineraries from each month, with a week or two leeway, that are the exact or what I feel are similar itineraries, then I'll select the first advertised price. For December, I'm going to pick the two main event cruises, Christmas and New Year's. Unlike the first video, I'm not going to just add the go pricing option toward the end of the video. I'm going to measure it straight away as well. If you're wondering why Pinot Australia has a go price, simply put, it's meant to be a cheaper option than the standard fare and doesn't usually include things like onboard credit. So, depending on the inclusions it has, sometimes it's better to book the standard fare, as you'll see later on. The cabins are also only going to be double occupancy, not quads or triples. To make the comparison fairer, I went with what was advertised on both the Carnival and Pinot websites, as different travel agents and sites could have a different price to everyone else. For this video, I'm going to take things a little further as well. Firstly, I'm going to take a look at the cruises for not only 2024, but also 2025. Could a much longer time frame to book make a difference? One of the viewers from the last video also suggested I check out the price of different categories of cabins to see if that would make a difference. So I'm going to add inside, ocean view, balcony, and the suites. I've got a question for you. How do you pick which cruise you're going to go with and which cabins? Leave a comment to tell us. If you want to get to the results, fast forward to the results section. If it was me, I'd be fast forwarding. I'm only showing what each month has to prove I'm not fudging the results. All the results were taken on the 25th of November 2023. If you remember, that was the Black Friday weekend. I'll point out if any of them had specials for this. So let's start off with the 2024 cruises. Starting with January, and any cruises that would be comparable were all sold out, so let's move on. Now February is the Adventure heading to Singapore for its refit, so we're clearly onto a great start here. Now with March, we can actually make a comparison, with both ships heading to New Zealand for 12 nights. Let's start off with Carnival on the 16th of February to the 28th. While not being in March, it was within the 2 weeks of the month to find that cruise. And Pinot were going from the 17th to the 29th of March. Carnival is cheaper on the advertised fare for the interior and ocean view, but once the go fare saving has been added, Pinot were cheaper. When you move up to balcony, Pinot were cheaper, and since Pinot was sold out for the suites, you can't make a comparison. Next is April, and we're off to the South Pacific, with Carnival leaving on the 28th of April and coming back on the 6th of May, while Pinot were going from the 12th to the 21st of April. Carnival wins on all accounts except for the suites, which loses on both advertised and go fares. Now on to May, where we don't have an exact itinerary to compare, but the closest I feel like I find. Carnival is going to the South Pacific from the 19th to the 28th. And Pinot are going from Vanuatu from the 13th to the 23rd. Now here we have something interesting. There's no difference to the go price with Pinot, so that's definitely something to think about if you're considering a cruise on Pinot. That price gets even more interesting for some of the months ahead. So here, Carnival takes everything except the balcony, with Pinot being the better value for both the advertised and go fares. Now to June, and both are going to Morton Island 4 nights. Carnival is the 20th to the 24th, and Pinot is the 10th to the 14th. Carnival and Pinot have the same advertised fare for the interior, but with the Go fare, Pinot have the better value. For Ocean View and Balcony, Pinot are cheaper, and with the suites, Carnival are cheaper on the advertised fare. July and the school holidays are upon us, and we are going to the South Pacific on the 8th to the 17th for Carnival, and Pinot is leaving on the 5th to the 14th. Pinot is cheaper for everything except the advertised price on the suites. Next is August, and Carnival is off for the refit, so let's move on. September is another month where there isn't an exact itinerary. Carnival is off to the South Pacific for 9 nights from the 18th to the 27th, and Pinot are off to Vanuatu from the 10th to the 20th. Carnival is cheap for the advertised interior price and suites, and Go, but Pinot are better value everywhere else. For October, we're heading to Northern Ireland for 4 nights. Carnival is from the 6th to the 10th, and Pinot is leaving on the same day from the 10th to the 14th. So if you're happy to go on a side-to-side cruise to the same destination, this could be a good option. But anyway, back to the results. Pinot is the best value for everything here. November is taking us to the Melbourne Cup. Unfortunately, news broke out that Carnival may no longer be offering cruises to Melbourne as I was preparing this video due to an increased port tax. So keep that in mind if you're thinking of doing this itinerary. Carnival is leaving on the 3rd and returning on the 9th, and Pinot is leaving on the 2nd and returning to the 8th. So a day out from each other, so a pretty good comparison. But when I went to check out the prices, it wasn't as good as I hoped, as it was booked out for an interior on Carnival and booked out on Pinot for both Ocean View and Balcony. So the only comparison that can be made is for the suites, which goes Pinot's way. For December, like last time, we're changing it up a bit and doing the 2 main events for the month, Christmas and New Year's. Let's start off with Christmas. Carnival is going to the South Pacific from the 19th and returning on the 27th. Pinot going for 10 nights to the South Pacific as well, from the 17th to the 27th. Carnival is cheaper for the advertised fare of interior and suites, but everything else is better value on Pinot. And closing off 2024 is our first New Year's comparison. Carnival is going on an 8-night South Pacific cruise from the 30th of December till the 8th of January, and Pinot is going for 9 nights from the 30th to the 9th of January. As you can see, Pinot is cheaper for everything except the suite. Now with 2024 out of the way, let's check out 2025. To start off the year, we're going for 4 nights to Northern Ireland. Carnival is going on the 24th, and Pinot is leaving on the 27th and returning on the 31st, with everything going Pinot's way. But here's something interesting. The Go fare is $70 extra per person. If you go on an autopilot and just book that fare on Pinot, don't. Actually look, it'll save you money. For February, we're just heading out to sea for 3 nights. Carnival's leaving on the 28th and returns on the 2nd of March. Pinot are doing a 3-night at sea with a comedy cruise leaving on the 14th and coming back on the 17th. Carnival is better except for the Ocean View and Balcony, where they are both the same price on Pinot. Cruise also has a more expensive Go fare on Balcony. Now for March, and we're off to the South Pacific. Carnival is leaving on the 6th and returning on the 14th, and Pinot is leaving on the 29th and returning on the 7th of April. Carnival are the value option for the advertised interior and Ocean View, and Pinot are better value for everything else. April takes us back to Northern Ireland. Carnival is leaving on the 2nd and returning on the 6th. And if you want to go back, book a hotel overnight and join Pinot on the 7th and come back on the 11th. As to which one is better value, that is Carnival for an interior cabinet and Pinot for everything else. This also had an extra Go fare for the balcony on Pinot. It's May now and we're going out to sea. Carnival is going from the 16th to the 19th, and at the end of the month, Pinot are going for an 80s themed cruise from the 30th to the 2nd of June. Carnival is the better option for almost everything except the balcony, which goes Pinot's way. For June, we are going to the Great Barrier Reef. Carnival is leaving on the 23rd and coming back on the 3rd of July, while Pinot is going from the 23rd to the 1st. Carnival is the clear budget option here unless you choose a Go fare for the Ocean View and balcony on Pinot. For July, we are off to the South Pacific. Carnival is going on the 20th and coming back on the 1st of August. Pinot are going from the 5th to the 14th. Carnival are the value option here except for the Go fare on the balcony and suites. For August, we're going out to sea again, and if you don't want to go from the last cruise from Carnival, stay on, as this is the back-to-back cruise, as it's leaving on the 1st and returning on the 4th. While Pinot are leaving at the end of the month from the 29th to the 1st of September for their 90s cruise. And it's an even result depending on the categories, with interior and Ocean View on Carnival cheaper, while Pinot are cheaper for balcony and suites. Welcome to September and we're off to the Great Barrier Reef. Carnival's leaving on the 8th for a 9-night cruise and returning on the 17th, while Pinot are also going for 9 nights but leaving on the 10th and returning on the 19th. Carnival is cheaper for the main advertised price of the interior, ocean view and suites, as well as the go option for interior. Pinot are a better option for balcony and the remaining go options. October 2025 and we're going to the South Pacific. Both are going for 8 nights with the Carnival Splendor going from the 12th to the 20th. And if you want to do it again, go on the adventure from the 20th to the 28th. Carnival is the cheaper option here, except if you're choosing the go option for ocean view and balcony. November 2025 and we're going back to the Melbourne Cup. Like the 2024 cruise, this might have changed. Carnival is leaving on the 2nd and returning on the 8th, and Pinot leaves on the 1st and comes back on the 7th. Suite and balcony advertised prices for Carnival is a better option, and Pinot are better everywhere else. Once again, for December 2025, we are going to compare both Christmas and New Year's cruises. Christmas 2025 and both are going to the South Pacific. Carnival is going for 8 nights from the 18th to the 26th, while Pinot are going for 10 nights from the 16th to the 26th. Pinot are the better option except for the first advertised price on the interior room. And now our final comparison, New Year's 2025/2026. Both ships are going to the South Pacific. Carnival is leaving on the 29th of December and returning on the 7th of January, while Pinot is leaving on the 30th and returning on the 9th of January. And it's going everywhere to Pinot. Before we get to the results, if you found this video informative, give us a like, and if you haven't already, why not subscribe? Also, if you've got a cruise related question that you want answered, leave us a comment, I'll see what I can do. So is Pinot cheaper than Carnival? That all depends on the cabin category that you pick, and if you want to select the go pricing option. There are a few things to mention though. Let's start off with the main advertised price. Carnival is definitely cheaper for an interior room and slightly better for a suite. For an ocean view, Pinot only just beat them by 1, enough to say they were pretty much on par. As for the balcony, there's no doubt that Pinot are definitely better value. When we take the go pricing option, it did make Pinot cheaper, but in a case like the interior, not by much. There are a few other things to think about though. If you're booking with Pinot, make sure you are getting a cheaper price with the go option. If you're picking a certain cabin category, sometimes ocean view is the same as price as a balcony. If you're wanting to do a 3-day cruise to nowhere, Carnival is always almost cheaper, but Pinot's was always themed, so that could have swayed the price. If you're wanting to book a cruise for the school holidays, unlike the last video, there really wasn't much of a clear winner, and depends which school holidays you picked. So, was there actually any difference from the last video? Yes. The price has definitely changed over time. Also, if I hadn't added the other cabin categories, Carnival would have actually won again with the main advertised interiors, but they would have lost this time on the go price. For school holidays, they didn't always go Pinot's way, it was more even as to which one was better value. So after comparing both videos, unless you're going to book straight away, depending on which cruise company you prefer, it might be better to wait for the best price you can get. Just don't hold back too much, otherwise you might miss out. If you want to watch something a little bit different, cruise ships have secret code words that they call out when there are emergencies on board. If you want to find out what some of them are, check this video out. And thanks for watching.